It was a dominating win. It was fun to see our guys play hard, and they played well in all three phases. When you force turnovers like that, games get out of control, and you have the big kicking game plays for field position. And we just, I'm really excited about our kicking game. I think we have a chance now every time somebody kicks it to us to score, and that's fun. We haven't been that way since we've been here, really. And when they got the interception and scored, the kickoff return just kind of broke their back when we came right back. And they're a better football team in my estimation than they were this time last year. And we were scared coming in because if you looked at what they were doing, they were getting better each week, and they played Buffalo much better this year than they did last year. They beat New Mexico State last week, and we were concerned about them being able to run the ball. So I was really pleased with our defense, the way they stepped up and just shut everything down throughout the entire day. And our young ones played better in the last quarter and a half than they've been playing before, so we're proud of them. Proud of Colt. He looks like the Colt of old. He came back and started, even with the interception, he kind of had a grin on his face when he came over, and he said, boy, what a great play he made. I thought it was the right throw. I thought it was the right place to go, and the guy just made a great break on it, and we'll get him deep before the day's over, one of those things, instead of having the bad body language and pouting and feeling bad. And really proud of Vondrell. He stepped up and looked like in the game what we've been seeing during practice today, so we're proud of him. Receivers continue to get better, and just felt like overall it was just a dominating win. You hate to beat somebody that badly, but it was a day, and especially a guy like Mike Price that I like and is a good football coach, but the game just kind of got out of hand, and I was proud of Garrett when he came in. We tried to get him some actual scrimmage plays because it'll help him, and that's 2 games now. Well, really 3 games we've gotten him in where he's gotten some work, and feel like that he did a really good job when he was in. Questions? I think so. Again, Cody looked good on his one run for a touchdown when he got in there, but that's good. And Fozzie probably still isn't 100%, but he's close, and he's got so much quickness. So we've really got to go back and just continue to look at what we can do to get the right combination of guys in there. I think we've got a good problem in that all of them have a chance, but and we'll have a chance next week to go back. We'll reevaluate everything next week. We'll look at the body of work we've had for the first 4 weeks. We'll look at the goods and the bads, and we'll pull everything out, and we'll throw out what is not working that we feel like doesn't fit us, especially offensively, because early you can get too much. We will start working hard for conference play now on the things that are really important to us. And I did think that last week's tough game with Tech helped us today. We played at a faster tempo today and played with more urgency, I thought, from start to finish. But that's what next week will be about, is trying to figure out exactly what we need to be when we start the week for Colorado the following week.
Coach, I know you've never exactly been in his shoes, but can you just talk about what it's like to be quarterback here when you beat Tech, but still people are coming out of the game and wondering what's wrong with you?
Well, we have pretty high standards here, and that's a good thing. I told Colt, at one point during the season, he said, boy, I feel like I got the whole world of the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I said, me too. So that's the way you feel. They're griping at me after the Tech game too, so it's just part of the deal here. But I do think that what you realize is that when you set a very high standard like he has, the expectations are just as high, and today he lived up or went beyond those expectations again, and that's what he'll be this year. I think he had a real breakthrough last week in the second half. And I saw it just with a different demeanor all week and today. If there was a ball, we dropped a touchdown pass today. We dropped a couple of passes. That might have frustrated him 2 weeks ago. It didn't even bother him today. He's competitive. He wants it to work. But he said, pick your head up. Let's go back and get the next play.
I know this isn't your biggest concern, but do you chuckle when you see him drop in the Heisman standings?
I don't watch the Heisman standings. Thank goodness I've been through that now 3 times. And that changes more than my waist size. I mean, my gosh, Ricky was out of the Heisman 3 times and won it in the end. So one thing I do know is the voters only vote that last week after conference championship games. And what happens right now is very unimportant. It's the body of work at the end, and I think he's right in the middle of it.
Can you talk about the defense today? I think it was one of 11 on 3rd downs.
Yeah, just played great. I really hate that we've had 2 shutouts with our defense this year, and they will not get credit for it, because of the botched fake on the punt up at Wyoming and the blocked punt were the only points they got. One of them was a field goal that they held from the 15-yard line, and today the points weren't defensively. So I think from our standpoint, we're calling it a shutout to the kids because they know that that's what they did.
Matt, could you do get them to start quicker with a sense of urgency?
No, we just tried to go 1 minute tempo instead of no huddle. We said we want to go play the whole game at such a high pace that it's like the last drive before the half, because we do that so well. And that's what we did today. UTEP doesn't have a lot of depth, and in that heat, that's the other thing we wanted to do, is wear them down, and that happened because we were on the field so much today offensively. I don't know how many total plays we had, but it was a lot. I think we had 41 at halftime. We had 83 plays to 51. In fact, they had 53 yards total offense to 638. So that part, we could just stay on the field that long. It gives you a chance to get everybody going. Yeah, that's who we want to be. You know, that's what we were in 2005. We ended up 250, 250. And that's what you would like to have. And we don't care which half. We don't care when it happens, because it is harder to run the ball the first half. So we felt like that we did see some things in the running game we liked in the second half, and we've just got to continue to work on them. Yes, we divide the season up into 4 groupings, and last week was the end of the first season. This is the first game of the second season. It will go through OU because we usually try to go 3-4 weeks there, and so this is it. We'll have our preparation week next week, then we'll have Colorado, then we'll have OU, and then we restart it again because we have to start going on the road. But we feel like that we have a million things still to work on, but we're where we want to be. This was a good way to finish, and now we'll have to be really careful that people don't brag on this performance so much that our guys get complacent and lackadaisical. It's still college football is such an amazing game when you look up and see some of those scores today. It just and what happens is teams play differently each week, and what you got to do is you got to win when you're not playing well, and that's the trick, because you're going to have some bad days, and boy, when you only have 12 regular season games, you have a bad day, it just kills you. And I'm just amazed at some of those scores. I just look up and think they must have them backwards.
Mack, is it possible that Jordan Shipley's underrated when it comes to his value to your team?
Yes. I don't think there's any question, Alan, that Jordan Shipley's underrated. He's the same guy every day. He's got the same attitude every day. When he got the early hit on the punt, most guys would have laid there or been hurt or come out, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "I'm fine. Just wish I had a chance to return the ball." You know, that's the kind of attitude he has. And we had to fair catch the last 4 punts. We had to get him out because I was afraid I'd tell him to fair catch it and he might not. So we wanted him to do that. And it was good to get Curtis in the game at the end too. We got 2 punters, we got 2 kickers, we got all the snappers, all the holders. So we got to work a lot of guys that don't normally get to work in a game like that today in a live situation. But I don't think that Jordan is appreciated like he should be, probably outside of our staff room and on our team. Our team and our staff know how valuable he is to us.
You talked during the offseason, a big emphasis on turnovers, particularly the interceptions. You got 4 today. Just talk a little bit about what that did today, and then maybe going forward, getting some confidence with those guys holding on to the ball.
Yes, last year to win 12 games with as few turnovers as we had was nearly impossible. And offensively, I still think we're okay because we're holding on to the ball well. And it seems like we've got good ball security. Again, the last 2 fumbles we can't have, but those young guys haven't practiced as much in those situations as the guys that played in the first 3 quarters. But turnovers are the difference in college football games. We said before the game to the guys that if you really look at turnover ratio and kicking game and energy and attitude, that's what wins football games. And I'll bet you some of those lopsided scores today, if you look at them, it's turnovers. I know looking at SC Washington, we showed them some of that film on Thursday, and we showed them the stats, and just to let them see how upsets occur, and they just need to be sure that they don't let that happen. And I think I was most proud today that they were all ready to play. And after the Tech game, this could have been a day that they wouldn't have been as ready to play because it wasn't as national a game, but I was excited that this team grew up some, and hopefully they're going to start playing regardless of the opponent every week.
How good was it to have this kind of complete performance going into a bye week, knowing that you're getting into Big 12 play again with Colorado?
Jeff, it's really good and it's dangerous because we play better, I really believe, when people are critical of us. And we just have to be really careful. We will have to be really hard on this team now. And we'll have to go back and look at every little thing that's out there. usually you guys do the coaching for me, and this week I'm going to have to do it probably. So I need you. I need you to pick up and find a bunch of bad things and jump on them. But very honestly, complacency kills in football, in attitude, and we've got to go back to work. So we'll find a lot of things that we need to work on in this film.
I know you're just kidding, but where could we even find something that, I mean, one pick? Where
Yeah,
do we find data from
this one was a hard one. I mean, we played really well. we'll find something. Well, you hate for a young guy to get in the game and fumble, and it's I think we got every eligible person today in the game, and that's something that's very, very hard to do, and we're proud to do that. And very honestly, I didn't want it to get in the 70s because I like Mike, and so as much as you hate to fumble, it worked out well that we didn't score the last 2 times there, and Jeremy was probably going to score when he fumbled. I mean, he was headed out the other side, so that's it. What's that?
People notice when you get in the 70s. Maybe that affects things at the end.
No, I don't think so. I think when you're ahead 47-7 at halftime, that's style points. So.
One more over here.
Yeah, Mack, you talked about scoreboard watching. Is it easier to coach when you can ignore the scoreboard? You guys just focus on winning, that's all you have to do?
It absolutely is. And everybody's already had 2 or 3 national championship teams get beat in the first part of the year, and what you got to do is just keep playing, be as good as you can play. When you go in, when people say you didn't score enough, it's not like you didn't try to. I mean, that's it. And if you beat somebody in modern day football, you better be happy and go home. And we may not have 2 undefeated teams playing in the national championship. You go back to LSU, had 2 losses and played for a national championship 2 or 3 years ago. So we've got to worry about us. We can't watch the ratings. Even if somebody jumps ahead of you, you just can't worry about all that stuff because you've got to keep playing. And it's funny, as I look back on what's happened, we have probably the most exciting season in sports because of upsets. And people love Cinderella. They love the upsets. I have openly said I disagree with what we do at the end. I don't think we match up as good at the end as we do during the season. But there's no doubt, without playoffs, a loss kills you. And then you have to depend on somebody else because you lose control of your destiny. And if we had playoffs, it would be more exciting at the end, like basketball. Because you can be 4th in your league in basketball, 5th in your league, lose your conference championship game, and go win the national championship. And that doesn't happen at our place in football. So I think that's what we've got. I think we've got the excitement every week of upsets. We've got the excitement of who's in the poll and who moves up. And at the end, it's more difficult for us because we're always mad. Everybody's always mad at the end because we don't get the matchups that we want, and hopefully there's some way that over time they'll work it out where we can do both.
Okay, Coach.
Thank you all.